Good morning, good morning, good morning. Let's come in the room right quick. I'm going to try not to be before you long. I know everybody got things to do. So let's just try to come on in the room right quick. Let's spend a couple minutes. No more than 20, 25. Let's get some things out. Let's go ahead and speak into your day. May this day produce whatever it is you desire. Know this, you are winning. Know this, it's about you. Know this, that whatever happens or whatever's about that you have been threatened, that's coming down the pipeline, know this, God has better for you. You are a winner. And when you possess that winner's tenacity, you win. It's not about what's hitting you in the face. It's about your mindset. It's about your mindset that you desire to believe that you are a winner. He promised you greater. You are already victorious. You have to speak your victory. Good morning from Japan. You have to speak into your day. You are not what happened. You are not what came, but you are what you gave access to. So today, let's remove the layers of everything to put into our mindset, to put, good morning, Ms. Owens, to put to where we desire to know that we are winning. We are victorious. We are living this life in spite of what happened yesterday, in spite of the turmoil that tried to knock you off your feet. You are winning. Why are you winning? Because you are up this morning with a made up mind that I am going to conquer whatever comes my way. You have to understand and know your words only have life when you speak them. You have to speak it. You have to speak them and speak them and speak them. Words have power. Good morning, Mr. Simpson, dear. Your words have power. You have to speak to the thing until it manifests. Jesus, let's go back to the beginning. God spoke and it happened. So therefore, there's power in your words. I don't care who you are. I don't care where you are. I got people on Periscope from Japan and other parts of the country. I got people on YouTube and everywhere, but you have to know this, your words have power. If it was not so, the Bible wouldn't have told you in your mouth. The tongue, the pen, either could speak life or death. I know that you are in a position. I know that you are in a situation. Then it seems like every time you turn around, you're losing something. It's like one thing after another thing, after another thing, after another thing. But guess what? When you begin to speak to that thing, one thing I know about God, He even said in the Bible, it has to move. Do you have the faith to believe that it has to move? I have the faith for you. There are some things that I told God, I'm tired. I woke up this morning around 12:30, said I'm tired of always having to lose or let go or seem like I'm in a battle of defeat. Where are those that you say are supposed to be here for me? You know you same questions, but then I woke up with the bull I am. I said, I will no longer lose anymore. My granddaughter shall no longer lose anymore. But this is our season for winning. This year has been already set up to give you a win. There are no more losses. You have to wake up in the morning. You have to speak to that thing until it happens. Whatever the chaos is in your life, in your body, on your job, in your family, in your children, you got to understand when there's a mandate, there is a hiccup. You got to understand that you got to begin to speak to those things until they bring forth what the word told you. Whatever the dream is that's in the belly, it has to bring the light. It has to come up. It has to come out. You got to speak it. You cannot be comfortable where you are right now. You got to begin to speak to that thing. In order for the life to come, you have to speak it. In order for germination to come, you have to speak it. In order for cultivation to come, you have to speak it. In order for growth to come, you have to speak it. In order for things to take place in our lives, we have to speak to the thing. You got to speak to it to understand and know who you are. Who are you? You're not the failure. You're not the defeat. You're not the alcoholic. You're not the whore. You're not the whoremonger. You're not the abuser. You're not the abusee. You're no longer a victim. Whatever happened that made you be the victim, that you aggressed on it, you are not that. You are greater. You got to start speaking to your mind. You got to start elevating yourself. When people call you nothing, you say, I'm something. Even if it frustrates you. One thing the Spirit spoke to me this morning, and I'm going to be quick with this. How are you going to handle this storm? Many people, when they begin to lose stuff, with a divorce, with a separation, with somebody leaving you, with you losing your job, with you being evicted, with things being repossessed, with the losses. We tend to take it out on people. But what is your attitude saying about this today? Because however you handle your losing streaks, that's how you're going to handle your winning streaks. You have to go through everything with an humbleness and knowing that God is for you. I don't care what comes and what goes. You got to understand it's set up only for you to win. But you got to make up in your mind, I'm leaning and dependent on God. I'm leaning and dependent. I'm speaking into my life if nobody else does. I am not my mother. I am not my father. I am not my sister. I am not nobody. I am me. I am conditioned to win. I'm not going to sit out here and keep warring men. I'm not going to sit out here and keep putting people in my business, because when God sets you up and he tells you who to talk to and they refuse to do the process, they will have to pay with interest. That's Bible. Because when a person is in the right position to bless you, you don't have to put off for tomorrow what you can do today. If anybody who has it in their hands tell you that come back to me tomorrow, and you know that God spoke it, he will deal with them. You've done your part. Reap your reward. I need for us today to go ahead and get our healing. Shake off bitterness. Shake off anxiety. Shake off panic. Shake off the attacks of what we have allowed and speak to that thing. I am a winner. I am winning this. I am winning that. You are a doctor of your life. Physician, heal yourself. You got to know who you are. And you got to speak it to that thing until the healing begins with me. And I begin to doctor on myself. Every word that somebody says about me take effect in my life. I am not what comes, but I am what I allow to come into my heart to filter, to have me shaking. I can speak into an atmosphere and it has to perform. You have the power in you to speak a word and it has to come to life. Whatever words you speak, whatever word you speak, whatever word you speak, whatever word you speak comes to pass, comes to pass. And I don't insult anyone. A doctor of theology, ministry, I don't care who you are. Everybody goes through their own mandate. Everybody goes through their own living. I work for mine like you work for yours. I stay in my lane, you stay in your lane. You stay in your zone, I stay in my zone. And that's pretty much how I got to go. I'm not going to go out here and go into a hospital room and say I'm a doctor and do something wrong. No. That's out of my zone. That's out of my lane. But as far as the mandate of Jesus and the Bible and the ministry and the theology, I'm qualified for that. And that's the issue with the world today. We'll go over and overstep our boundaries when we should stay in the lane that's made for us. We've been graced and anointed for some things. Quit outstepping your role and quit standing on it and over it and stay in your lane. Stay in the lane that you've been graced for, the mantle that you've been graced for, and quit going over trying to be like somebody, bringing on unnecessary warfare, and then you got to try to fit in where you had no business trying to be tailor-made for. You got to understand, and you got to stay in your lane. Thank you. So now you got to walk through this thing, and you got to go through this thing, and you got to know without a shadow of a doubt who you are. And you got to operate as such. God is giving you title deed access to use the same authority and more, and to bring what's necessary. We got to quit operating below the bar and go to understanding this. God is for you, who could be against you? If God is with you, who can be against you? Until you can wake up and encourage yourself, you will always be that one that need a crowd of people and still be in a room empty and void. You got to understand and know who you are, and you got to operate as such. God is a God of order. He's a God of respect. We don't disrespect nobody. I don't care how your mentality figures it, and I don't even care what people say. But one thing I do know is whatever God says, I am. I don't worry about people who don't know self. I worry about what God says I am. And if you're confident in that thing, nobody else should be able to shake you. Sticks and stones we stand coming up and break up on with words will never hurt us. And that is a lie. But people, when you make up in your mind that I'm going to serve God, I don't care who other people to choose to serve and what they say about me, God will cover me. And one thing I know about God, he takes care and handles business for me real well. I don't know about nobody else. So you got to make up in your mind, are you going to do this thing wholeheartedly, or are you going to be a mouth service? If God be for you, who could be against you? If God be for you, God handle that. Take care of that. And you got to know this thing for sure. When people ain't been through nothing, or people comfortable with blaming people, they look at you as if you're crazy. But this one thing I know for sure, that thing that I walked into and I done, I can accept. I'm accountable. I'm mature enough to handle my business. But until you deal with the anger and the blaming and maturing man up and say, what have I allowed? What came into my camp? What have I given access to break me, to make me bitter instead of better? And you deal and you pull back those layers to help you heal. You will never be able to fully understand the life that you are set up to live. You are set up to live a life of wholeness. You are set up to live a life of health. You are set up to live a life of who you are and go accordingly. But do you believe in who you are? Do you understand who you are? And do you know who your purpose is? And do you know what your purpose is? So now you got to understand there's some conversations you're going to have with God. And there's some things that you're going to have to be open and honest about. And you're going to have to wait for him to tell you, because many of us will never live fully according to our purpose until we go back to the creator of the vision. He knows the plan for your life. He knows the roadship for your life. So quit going out here getting on these 7-lane highways and you can't even drive on a 2-lane highway. You can't even drive on a dirt road. You got to stay in your lane. You got to stay in your lane, and you got to walk. You got to wear the mantle, the garment that you are graced with. You can't put on everybody else's clothing and then you'll be frustrated because you are in what I call a fight that you can't win. Because when you start trying to put on everybody else's mantle and you try to put on everybody else's garment, you try to put on everybody else's life, you don't know who you are. You got to understand the mind, the mentality, the mandate, the outline of what's going on when you try to walk into a lane or go in a lane that you're not qualified for. Warfare is warfare. Don't bring on unnecessary warfare in the spiritual realm that you can't handle in the natural. You got to stay in your lane. And in order to get what's coming down the pipeline for you this year, you got to make up in your mind. You got to make up in your mind and your heart of hearts that if God be for me, who could be against me? You got to make up in your mind and your heart of hearts, I'm winning in this season. I'm winning from day one, and I'm going to win forever. If you don't understand, please stay in your lane. When you get a passion and excitement about somebody called God, he will rise you up. I am passionate about what I speak. So therefore, if nobody understands the passion, you are not in a deep enough relationship to even speak into my atmosphere. You got to understand who you are. And you got to understand, if you ain't been through nothing, you don't understand the passion of anybody attached to their story. So we got to understand, I am who I am. God made me who I am. And I have to embrace that and enjoy who I am. I'm not living to appease anybody. I know who I am. And you got to understand who you are. And if you don't understand, stay in your lane. Stay in your lane until you are graced with the garments to go over. You are in your winning seasons. But there's some things that you got to understand who you are and what you possess. You carry a mantle of grace. You carry a mantle of authority. You walk accordingly. Deal with it. We only become victims to what's out there when we don't speak the right things into our lives. We have the authority to speak into our lives and watch things happen in the positive. You got to understand and know who you are, and you got to function as such. You've been given the authority to speak life, be life, and your words activated. You got to understand who you are. You don't have to live a life below the bar. Kingdom is not broke. It's the mentality of the people that say they live in a kingdom life that are broke. And we got some fixing to do. You got to understand and know who you are. And there are no more losses in this season. There are no more. We walked into a new year and we still got issues. Deal with you before you try to deal with somebody else. You have been given the greatest prophecies. Now it's time to take those words and bring them to pass. It's not the prophet's fault. It's not the pastor's fault. It's not your teacher's fault. You got to ask yourself, what am I doing? What's in my life that I need to have removed that I'm holding on to? This is winning time. This is mayhem time. But if you're not willing to fight it, but you want to be like a pig waddle and complain in it, the results are evident. But greater shall we be when we learn how to deal with ourselves. So you got to deal with yourself today. The winner you are is in you. You got to believe it. You got to speak to yourself and believe it. And stand on that for sure. This is your winning time. All things new. It's made for you. It's created for you. But let's get through dealing with some stuff. Let's deal with it. Because you don't have to live this way. You've been promised greater. Let's go get it. Greater is our portion. And greater is for us. What does your mind say? What does your mouth say? What does your heart believe? I believe that there's no more losses for nobody. But do you believe it? That you can speak it? That you can have it? Do you believe in who you are? Do you understand who you are? To go get it. So emotional that you know earthly good. Stop playing Russian roulette with your own life and grow today. This is it for the morning. I want you to know I love you. I love you. But this is your winning time. This is your winning season. This is your winning day. This is your winning mandate. Ephesians 3:20 is what I speak of to you every day of this year. He is able to do exceedingly abundantly above more, all than you can ask, think, or believe. I believe that. I'm standing on it, and you stand on it as well. Love you. Mwah.
Purple candy. We also have a food sticker this time around. Marshall. Flyer.